There is a war on our children. There is no question whatsoever that there is a war on our children, an ideological war that has been waged on our children. There was a heated discussion between Allen Ginsberg, who was a famous beat poet, 50s, 60s, became an icon of the counterculture revolution, Buddhist, Hindu. He was known as a leader of the Jews who converted to Buddhism. He was also very well known as a gay sexual activist. And he was having a debate discussion with a conservative pundit, Norman Potteris. And at the end of it, he shouted to him, "We'll get you through your children." This was in the late 1950s. Well, there was some controversy recently because of a chant at a New York City drag march in 1994, when gay pride events said, hey, we don't want the drag community and some others, the leather community, for those who know what that is, we don't want that in our gay pride marches. It kind of gives a bad image. Now, of course, drag queens are being celebrated, right? But, it gives a bad image. So they started their own pride parade, drag queen pride, etc. So this was the annual drag queen pride parade in New York City. And this was a chant by some of the demonstrators there. Let's listen. Yeah, so you hear the chant. We're here, we're queer, we're coming for your children. Now, there are people saying they were just being satirical. They were just saying that's what you think of us. And by the way, there is video for it, but we didn't play the video because of, well, there's some nudity, so just inappropriate, obviously, to play the video for those watching. But some said, no, it was just satirical. That's what you think of us. So we're playing into the worst stereotypical image. If that's the case, it's quite unwise because it's going to be taken seriously. Others said, no, we had a counter chant to that because we didn't like that chant. Bottom line, there are and have been for years LGBTQ plus activists who have been coming for our children. I'm not talking about pedophiles. I'm not talking about people trying to seduce our children sexually. I'm talking about people trying to indoctrinate our children, change their thinking. And what else? What do you call it? When you have drag queens reading to little toddlers and elementary school children and saying the hips of a drag queen go swish, swish, swish and stuff like that. What is that if not coming for our children? As one of the drag queens, a gay man said, yeah, we want to groom your children. We want to change their thinking. What is that if not coming for our children? And when you have school after school after school after school seeking to indoctrinate our children, seeking to indoctrinate their thinking, see, I've read from children's readers just a few weeks ago, for little children, even toddlers, teaching them to read. You can be a boy one day and a girl the next, and both the next, and not. Is that not coming for our children? Gay journalist Andrew Sullivan said, look, there's a difference between this queer ideology now and this trans activism and the drag queen activism, and that's not who we are. And we weren't coming for your children's bodies, trans activism and getting children to transition at 6 and 8 and 10 and 12, etc. Yeah, but you're coming for children's minds. And the influence is there. Social media influence is coming to influence children. The media, Disney, come on, Disney actively working to indoctrinate children. So here in Montgomery County, we lived there, Nancy and our family lived there for 9 years, 87 to 96. Montgomery County schools said, no, you can't opt out of certain classes. And parents and children say, what do you mean we can't opt out? These things are morally objectionable. Look who's speaking up now and confronting these bigoted school councils. Say, wait, if this is your position, you're siding with like white supremacists and bigots and things like that. Now, it's just bigotry to accuse those who have a moral objection with being you're just like a white supremacist and a bigot. So listen to what this Muslim woman has to say, speaking to school board in Montgomery County, Maryland.
Bismillah. Good afternoon. I'm Samir Munshi. I work with the Coalition of Virtue, a Muslim-led nonprofit based here in Maryland, and I want to address the board on the issue of opt-out. I firstly want to acknowledge, like Sister Hussein did, that today is the day of Arafah. It's the holiest day of the year for Muslims, and many of us are fasting, yet we came out to stand in the rain and to voice our concerns, because for us, this is genuinely an issue of faith, not hate. And we reject the implication that acting on our faith's principles is a willful means of harming others. In fact, we see it as a point of bigotry that some only care for our community and will only protect our rights when we assimilate to their way of life and ways of thinking. Just like it's a point of bigotry when some refuse our women's right to wear hijab and to pray, condemning us for our views on this issue is in itself another act of bigotry like the ones Muslims and immigrants have faced in this country for years. The same religion that causes Muslims to care about environmental justice, food insecurity, or ending anti-Black racism is the same religion that causes Muslims to care about environmental justice, food insecurity, or ending anti-Black racism is the same religion that causes us to care about this issue. Our faith is not partisan, and our people are not backwards. Part of the American dream of our people is that they pass on their values to their children. But members of this school board have mocked our values and have said we cannot be allowed to opt our children out precisely because they want to end that dream. Our constitutional right to religious freedom and to raise our children precisely protects that dream. Many of our families don't have much of a choice whether to place their children in this public setting. So we ask that we at least have a choice for our children not to be forced to participate in celebrating or normalizing views that contradict our religion. These children will learn about same-sex couples and trans-identifying people, whether they learn these things in school or not. And the conversations that they will have with these members of our community will serve as education on these matters later in their lives. But we're asking that our children not be strong-armed at such a young age into believing certain ideas about gender and sexuality, or that the school system insist on turning our children against the religious values that we hold. Thank you.
Hi.
So that's a Muslim woman speaking. You know, Muslim, you don't want to be Islamophobic and all this. That's a Muslim woman speaking. Other Muslim parents spoke up. But how about this? How about this middle school Muslim boy? Listen to what this kid bravely has to say.
Hi, my name is Saad Beg. I'm a middle school student of MCPS. I'm here to talk about the opt-out option for reading material. I'm not here to take away the right of anyone being recognized in the community. I'm here to talk about my rights. My religion teaches to respect all religions and all human beings and their rights. So does my country law. And I want my right back to have an opt-out option. In the last Board of Education meeting, someone said that many people of the LGBTQ community are being bullied. That may have been the case some time ago, but these days it's quite the opposite. There are over 40 kids that I know who don't want to learn this and really want to be here talking today, but can't because they are being bullied. They are the ones being bullied when they say we don't want to learn this.
Exactly the case. The bullying has gone the other way and has been that way for years. Why not just teach universally bullying is bad and let parents make these decisions. Let kids make these decisions with their parents to opt out, unless you're going to force indoctrination on children that violates the religious and moral and spiritual values of large segments of the population. Time to speak up, time to push back. The war on our children has been going on for a long time. It is high time that we stand together and push back. Hey friends, I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, click on one of the boxes on the screen, check out another one of our videos, and be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss a single video. You know, we discovered that about 60% of you that are watching our videos aren't subscribers, so subscribe today. Doesn't cost you a dime. And if you want to support our work, Line of Fire, and all the things that we do, follow one of the links on the screen below.